with Soul Heart Collaboration. We're going to talk with our speaker, Jean Bishop, about the upcoming Infinite Possibilities Retreat, October 4th, 5th, and 6th, 2024, and in Scottsdale, in person in Scottsdale, Arizona, and online via Zoom. So you can attend from around the world. And speaking of around the world, let's speak with our pilot in residence, Jean Bishop. Yay! Hi, Hen.
Hi.
For those of you who do not know, this is my husband, Jean Bishop. He is a pilot, private airline, private
Corporate jets.
Thank you. Private corporate jets. You'd think I've learned that over the last 24 years. Anywho, Jean is going to speak at our upcoming retreat about handling high-profile clients. It's something that he's really amazing at. It's something that he has a really beautiful way of teaching. And it's something that's pertinent to all people, because it's not just about high profile, blah, blah, blah. It's not just about high profile clients. It's about people, right? People in general. One of the things that's so beautiful is that Jean is one of those people that does not treat you any differently, whether you are the grocery store attendant or whether you are the CEO of a Fortune 50 company. One of the things I love most about him, actually. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about who you are, and go from there.
Well, you already know the story, so. I have been Jamie's husband for the last 20 years. I have known her since we were in 3rd grade, which was significantly more than 20 years.
Shh, don't tell anyone.
I grew up wanting to fly. It's the only thing I've ever really wanted to do. And I'm extremely grateful for having the opportunity to make a living doing something I love doing. It's been a dream as long as I can remember, and I've been at it for the last 34 years. And I've almost got the hang of it. So I've flown in the military, I've flown civilian corporate helicopters and jets, I've flown EMS helicopters and jets. I've done a little bit of everything. So I'm hoping to use the retreat as an opportunity to help explain and share the lessons I've learned in those 34 years as they pertain to dealing with individuals and even groups of people. And yeah.
That's great. That's great. Perfect, Hen.
I'm not very good at this interview stuff.
I was just going to say, he's a little nervous because he feels like what he knows doesn't pertain to the people at this retreat, but I disagree, which is why I keep asking him over and over to be a speaker here. So the reason I ask you to be a speaker is because many people do not grasp the concept of how to handle, or, they all want to work with the wealthiest of the wealthy, but then they don't necessarily know how to A, go about attracting that person, or B, go about serving that person in the best way possible. And I know that you have some incredible insights into that experience. So that's why I keep asking you to be part of this. Tell everybody why you keep saying yes.
Because I don't like sleeping on the couch.
I was just going to say, you're going to say something about me making you. It's not true. I don't make him. He does. I think he's nervous speaking in front. Are you nervous
No.
speaking in front of people?
I've spoken in front of thousands of people before.
I know, and you're great at it.
Well, thank you. Not sure I agree with that, but thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so when it comes to these retreats, well, let me ask you this. Are you hesitant at all to share what you know with?
No.
Okay.
Not at
Okay.
all.
Good.
Happy
Good.
to do it.
Glad to hear that.
Just don't want to bore anybody.
Just what?
I don't want to bore anybody.
Yeah, not possible. Not possible. What is one piece of advice that you would give to somebody who is looking to work with high profile clients?
Identify what sets you apart from everybody else. Whether that be a talent, a skill, or even a personality trait that you have that nobody else has. Something you offer that is unique to you. Dig deep if you have to, but find it, identify it, and use it to your advantage. That's what high net worth individuals look for, is a unique experience that they can't find anywhere else, or a product that they can't get from anybody else, or a service that's done better than anybody else.
Yes. Yes. And I know you'll go into a little bit more detail during your presentation at the upcoming retreat. So you'll definitely want to be there just in case that's that. What made you become a pilot in the first place?
I wasn't very good at soccer.
So. Tell your
or
soccer
baseball.
story.
It's not my soccer story. It's my mom's soccer story.
Tell your mom's soccer
story. When I was
story.
4 years old playing at the park was right next to an airport. So anytime an airplane took off, flew overhead, didn't matter what I was doing or where I was, whether I had the ball, the whole world came to a screeching halt, and I did one of these.
Yes.
And we probably lost a few games because of that. And my coaches were not fans of my aviation ambitions. And my mom and dad told that story pretty much my entire life. So it's always been a passion. It's always been something I've enjoyed. It's both a science and an art. So I get to practice a little of each. And no 2 days at the office are ever the same. We deal with a lot of the same scenarios, but there are differences that keep it interesting.
Love that. Love that. I know you've worked with lots and lots of people who shall not be named, but the thing that I want to ask is, when it comes to doing your job in the best way possible, or the thing that maybe makes you a little bit unique in how you do that job, what jumps out at you? Maybe you've heard it from somebody else, maybe yeah.
I think it's a combination of pride and ownership and attention to detail. And I don't know that those are traits that are unique to me, but they are things that I've had to teach other pilots who've been coming into corporate flying. We live and die by attention to detail. Making sure we understand instructions correctly, making sure we both understand what the other is doing, making sure we know what's going on with the passengers at all times. Little tiny details, when missed, can turn into catastrophic results very quickly and very easily. So as a result, that's something I've learned both through my own mistakes and through examining the mistakes that others have made and often not survived. It's something that's become incredibly important to me, and is probably towards the top of my list of priorities in the cockpit and before and after a flight. You know, I don't have the luxury of being like an airline pilot where I just go sign out, and get on board the airplane, fly it to where it needs to go, and get off and go to the hotel. I do all the legwork before, during, and after the flight to make sure that my passengers' experience is beyond first class, top notch, and flawless start to finish. And there's a lot of behind the scenes work that goes into that. So, attention to detail and taking pride and ownership in the airplane, and the way it's presented, the way myself and my crew are presented, the service we provide, the way we communicate. It's all one big package, and I've been told it's something I do very well. I won't say better than anybody else, but it is one of the things I'm most proud of professionally.
That's understandable. And to add just one more thing that you didn't mention that I have heard people say a lot about you is safety first.
Oh,
You are, and I mean, that's your whole job. When it comes right down to it, it's to keep everybody safe from point A to point B, right?
no, my job is to keep me safe, and they can all come with me. And I tell people that that's part of my passenger briefing when I've got new people on board, is that my job is to make sure we all go home safe and sound at the end of the day. But I'm number one on that list. And yeah, I will do whatever I can to keep everybody safe, obviously. But yes, that's my primary goal. Is I don't want to be in an accident.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, that's the number one piece of feedback that I hear from your passengers is how incredible you are about safety and how willing you are to stand up for yourself, your crew, and your passengers when it comes to safety, which
Absolutely.
is, yeah. That's a big
something
deal.
that's non-negotiable.
Right. It shouldn't be in any scenario, but sometimes the envelope gets pushed a little bit.
There are people who try.
Yeah. So I appreciate that about you. I always feel very extra safe when I'm flying with you.
Oh, thank you.
And I think everybody else does too.
I hope so.
Yeah. When it comes to what it is that makes what you do for a living unique, what is that? If you can even point out anything.
I'm not sure I understand.
Okay. I'm thinking like, I know that you have a very specific way of dealing with helicopter flying versus littler airplane flying versus currently you fly the corporate jets. What's different from aircraft to aircraft? I mean, other than the obvious glaring thing of that they're different aircraft. What is there anything that you could tell somebody about that might be intriguing?
There are similarities, and then there are dissimilarities. Flying helicopter primarily is visual, so we need good weather or decent weather. It doesn't have to be clear. Versus flying an all-weather jet where the weather just has to be above certain minimums. There's just a different mindset depending on what I'm flying, where I'm flying, and you kind of adjust beforehand. That's part of my pre-flight process, is getting my head centered around what I'm doing and what the demands are for that day and that particular flight. When I was flying EMS helicopters, we get a call at 3 o'clock in the morning to go out in the middle of nowhere, pick somebody up off the side of a highway. I was dealing with night vision goggles and mountainous terrain and unpredictable weather in areas that didn't have weather reporting available. So that was a different set of risk factors and risk mitigation factors versus flying a jet with 10 passengers from LA to Hawaii. Safety was the ultimate goal, is the ultimate goal, no matter what I'm flying or where. But the risk mitigation factors that go into each different type of flying might change a little bit. Depends on, am I flying by myself? Do I have a crew? Do I have passengers? Who, what, when, where, why is all different. So that can affect some of the decisions that are made and some of the risk mitigation that goes into each of the flights. So lots of similarities, but lots of differences as well.
I love that you mentioned risk mitigation, but also mindset. Mindset is a big deal when it comes to approaching each scenario with a fresh set of eyes and a fresh set of expectations.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like I said, that's all part of the pre-flight process that starts usually a day or two before the flight at home, whether I'm looking at airports or approaches or weather forecasts or, and that's more geared towards the jet. With the helicopter, it was all last minute calls most of the time. So I could look at the big picture weather in the general area. But when we got a call for a flight, I had 3 or 4 minutes to make a decision.
Yeah.
Most of the time. And there were a lot of factors that had to come into play. But it was a process, and once I got used to it, it didn't take very long. And there were only a couple of times where, looking back, I would have made a different decision.
Yeah.
Which in a 10-year period.
I was going to say with thousands of flights, I'm sure. Yeah.
Not too often, but things do change, and we're dealing with unpredictable and the unknown. So
yeah,
a lot of times we're left to judge and react on the spot. So.
Yeah. Well, that's got to be stressful.
It can be. One flight that comes to mind is we were in a helicopter taking a neonatal ICU team from Barstow, California, back to Loma Linda Children's Hospital. And it was at night, and there was forecast to be scattered snow flurries coming through the mountain pass. But when we actually got there, there was a line of snowstorms, and we got a little bit into it, and it didn't take long. And I turned around and went to the closest airport, and the crew and the patient went the rest of the way by ground ambulance. But there again, dealing with the unforecast, the unknown, you learn to make decisions on the spot, and there's kind of a mental checklist that comes into play. And I have as do most of the helicopter pilots I know, I have a 3-strike rule, or if I have to do 3 different things to avoid weather or terrain or whatnot that was unplanned, we turn around and go somewhere else and land. And that's what I did that night. So just having that plan in place for the unexpected alleviates a lot of the stress. The decisions are made ahead of time that if this or this happens, then we're going to go here, we're going to go there. And it's just a matter of sticking to that plan. And where people get into trouble is they start second guessing themselves and pushing a bad situation because they want to get Kobe Bryant to his basketball game on time, and they're already running late. So they push bad situations, and oftentimes with fatal results, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
And that's, I mean, not to that extreme, but that all relates, at least in my own mind, that all relates to handling business scenarios and situations where you have to have that resilience. You have to have that way of looking at things. You have to have kind of a protocol in place in order to overcome obstacles and get beyond the things that divert you from plan A, if that's the right way to say it, right? And
Well,
if
you have
ground
to have a plan
transportation,
B, a plan C, a plan
it's
D,
exactly,
and you have to
exactly.
be willing to revert to those backup plans.
Yes, 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 a thousand
And
times yes. So while I understand that you have a tendency not to correlate what you do with the entrepreneurial world, it very much is, to me anyway, the way that I view it. It's very it's the same. It's
there's a
just
lot of
dealing with
carryover
different. Yeah, yeah, there's a lot. Exactly, exactly.
in the mental process.
For sure, of course. And that's where, mindset, hello.
Yeah.
That's where I go with that it all. But anyway, so let's shift a little bit and ask a couple of fun questions of you.
Okay.
Seeing as how you've been to so many places on this planet, what still exists on your bucket list that you have not had a chance to go to, and why? Why do you want to go there?
My most recent trip to Ireland kind of sparked my curiosity there. I would love to go back and wander around Ireland, Scotland, Wales, England, and just see that part of the world. I would like to go back to Tbilisi, Georgia. I was there twice, and unfortunately, it was, well, there was a lot of fighting and unrest going on. But the people I met and the little bit of history I was able to uncover just was fascinating. And it's not on most people's top 10 lists of places to go, but it was a beautiful city. The people were amazing. And it was definitely a place I would like to go explore a little bit more and learn more about. Where else? I'd love to go back to Jordan and spend a week or so wandering around the desert. And I would love to visit Petra, which is it was a civilization that was basically carved into the walls of a desert canyon. I would love to go to Jerusalem and Rome and all kinds
So
of
many places.
historic places with historic significance. I would like to go to New Zealand.
Nice.
Go see that part of the world. I would love to go back to Japan. That's part of the problem is I only get small snippets of these places.
Yeah.
It's not often I get to spend a lot of time on the ground exploring. Right. But it's enough to pique my interest and get me to want to learn more and go back. So
love it. Love it. Hey,
it's
listen.
a long list.
Yeah. Bagheera wanted to say hi. She's so naughty. Do you have any fun socks or ties or anything like that?
I have both.
What's on them?
Well, one was the pair of socks that you drew on for me when I went to Iraq. Right.
I forgot about those.
Yeah, I didn't. They're still in my drawer. I have most of them you've given to me. My tie with the red tie with the airplanes on it.
Love that.
That I always get complimented on. I know I have other socks, but those are my favorite, the ones you gave me.
Jacelyn drew on some of them too when she was only 2.
Yeah, we got those right next to yours.
Oh, I forgot about this.
Still got them.
Cute. Okay, so if you were to offer any advice, whether it has to do with your talk or whether it has to do anything of value that you might offer the audience listening for maybe attending this retreat or anything else come to mind? Any words of wisdom?
Words of wisdom.
Don't say anything about yellow ice, yellow snow. That's his go-to answer, y'all.
I'm looking forward to being a participant.
Yay.
So I hope if you're watching this, you'll come join us. And you can even use scorecards.
Might be fun. Get audience participation scorecards. We'll give the prize. Anywho, thank you. Thank you for saying yes. Thank you for participating. Thank you for helping me with all of this. I know you see the behind the scenes of all the things that go into it, and I really, really appreciate your support in it. So thank you.
You're very welcome. I am in awe watching you put all of these pieces together. It's quite quite fitting that you have a cat sitting behind you because you've been herding cats this whole time.
Kinda, yeah. You know, that's okay. That's something I enjoy. I enjoy putting all the pieces of the puzzle together, and I'm always in awe of how seamlessly the presentations transition from one to the next. It blows my mind away whether the presenter has any clue what the previous presenter showcased. It always flows beautifully right into. So I'm hoping that that's the case again this year. Again, go ahead.
It will be.
It will be. Excellent. From your lips. We're talking about the Infinite Possibilities Retreat through Soul Heart Collaboration. You can visit soulheartcollaboration.com to learn more. The retreat is October 4th, 5th, and 6th. That's only a couple weeks away. So get your tickets, join us, whether it's in person or live on Zoom. You also get all the recordings, so one price for any of the ways that you can participate. We really want to see you there. Part of the mission of Soul Heart Collaboration is to bridge the gap between personal and professional development, hoping to add a little bit of stability and much more solid foundation off of which to launch anything that you're coming up on launching. So if this retreat speaks to you, we really would love to see you there. Thank you, Jean Bishop, for being a speaker and for doing this little interview today.
Thank you.
Yeah, and hope to see y'all there.